Happiness through curiosity on TRS Clips. Have you had any cases where you've dealt with some sort of black magic situation which your team found difficult?
So there is a case that I encountered quite personally. It's a case we received, of course, because I'm talking 2016. End of 2016, we received a call from this village in Odisha, and they wanted to get their village investigated, plus a river bed. That river used to go pass through that village, and their claims was that the road that connected to village, and beside it was the river that was going passing through the on that road. They were seeing creatures which were not human. They're like headless beings just crawling on the floor, on the field, and they were on all their fours. They had no head, no tail, so there is no way it's an animal. It was all blackish and gooish kind of a thing. So much fear that they stopped communication between the two villages. No trading is happening. They stopped going out at night, and everything came to a halt. The only time they used to go out was during the day. By the time it's evening, they know we do not have to go, because there were personal experiences of people who were who said and claimed that they were pushed down the road. So to give you an explanation how the road was made up of mud. It's a muddy road, and on this side are the paddy fields, and on this side is the river. But before the river starts is a river bed for which you'll have to go down. So it's like, if you cannot balance your bike or any vehicle, you're going down to the river directly if you cannot control well. And on that side is the wheat field and all kind of vegetations that is going on. So they're quite worried, because there are kids and all who were once playing at that area. Now they can't play and everything. So they called, and unfortunately it was only me who went there. Unfortunate, why? Because my teammates should have experienced what I experienced. And so I went there with a couple of few friends, and who had no knowledge. We just went because it was a village and I needed some help to manage people. And the first thing, like every investigation, is we were interviewing this person, every person who had some experience. And then comes this old lady, and she says, I'll say this in Hindi, beta ye to shaitan ka ghar hai, you know. And I'm like, yeah, I've heard something like this.
As in the devil lives here.
Yeah, it's so intensely haunted, according to her. And according to her, there are also people who have died because of those accidents, thus making it way more dangerous than apart from the claims that they had.
As in whatever beings were there were also killing people.
Not killing people, but let's say because of their fear, people took some turns and braked in a way, as in they applied brake in a way that they went died in that process. I think they met with an accident, or they skid so bad that they had head injuries and all, and they all died that way. And when this lady said that, I was like, yeah, I have heard this line before, because people generally in fear do use these terms to explain their fear and how scared they are. I'm like, yeah, it's all fine. But we went there. We were like, okay, it's done. The interview is done. A lot of people have a lot of claims and a lot of stories. I said, let's go and investigate this place. And this is like 400, 500 kilometers from Bhubaneswar. So I have to come back home, then attend college the next day. So I was like, no, let's wrap it up as soon as possible. And this is 6:30, 6:30 to 7ish. The sun has just set. And in Odisha, the sun sets quite early as compared to Bombay, and it's like by 5:36 it's quite dark. And I'm like, yeah, it's all fine. We are done with the interview. Let's go to the place, and we will start our investigation. Now, while on the way, I realized that Pooja had called me while I was on my way to the investigation, and she just happened to warn me that, Sarbajit, you might face some kind of a witchy entity or something related to witchcraft. Just be warned and be safe. And it's not a very good kind of. But I'm like, no, the place I've. So this is a conversation we had before I reached the place. I'm like, no, but the place I'm going to has no history of witchcraft and no claims of witchcraft. So maybe it's something else that is happening in the future. Maybe it's one of your premonitions. She was like, no, I'm quite sure this is this one. I'm like, okay, I'll see. And then I ignored it. And we went there, and it's a huge place, like a football field. And it was around winterish, not winterish, it was summer, I think. And so the water was not over flooded, it was not out of the quantity, it was quite good. So the riverbeds were quite visible. And we went there, it's 7 8ish. And my friends, it's like I was there. Then there were 3 people, one with a camera, 2 camera guys, and 1 sound guy. And of course, we have to record everything, and we were doing all those things. So I said, let's do one thing. Let's separate. 2 people will go one side, the other 2 will go the other side, and we can meet up after half an hour, and let's see what you are catching, what you are feeling, and I'll see what I'm getting on my devices. So the first 15-20 minutes, there is no replies, there's nothing. The gadgets are all dormant, and I thought, maybe it's a good sign. This is not haunted. We will counsel the entire village. We'll make them believe or aware that it is not haunted, and maybe there are few stories which are rounding up, but there's nothing else to fear. And we were like all fine, and suddenly starts raining. And I was like, how did it rain? It was not raining. There's no predictions or anything like that. So we rushed down to the car. We waited for 5 minutes, and after 5 minutes it was done. And I said that I was quite happy and excited that I'm going to wrap it up quite soon because there's nothing. This time when I went down again, the feelings had changed, the vibes had changed. I'm like, why does this feel so dense right now? It's an open field. There is no one apart from the 4 of us, but it feels like there are thousands of people surrounding me, and they're kind of staring at me and looking at me and my crew and everything. I said, why does it feel so tense? I was like, anyway, let's do our job, and we will then get back. So again, we are separated. And this time when I get my device out, it's now starts blinking. One of the EMF sensors, it starts blinking. And I'm now questioning thing, how is it possible? Because it's a riverbed, it's a village where the electricity is also like a dream, like a regular electricity. So there are no overhead wires, there's no wires underground, there's nothing. And if there is a wire underground, then the moment I would have taken the device near the ground, it would have spiked more. There was nothing. It was only during that area where I was standing. And as I was trying to understand why this is happening, the 2 other guys who went the opposite direction, one of them starts shouting, Sarbaji, 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 and it's kind of rushing towards me. My first reaction, there's a crocodile or a snake that he encountered, because a riverbed and there are counts of crocs out there. And I am also running towards him to understand what happened. And he says, Sarbajit, I saw this entity standing behind you. I'm like, you're bluffing right now. There's no entity, because even in the last podcast, I said my peripherals are quite strong and evident. I can always be aware what is happening. I'm like, I didn't see anything in my peripherals, and you're pointing exactly where I can have a look. He said, no, I'm very sure there was someone, and it was white in color. And it was a lady, old lady, and she was looking right at you very angrily. I'm like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, I'm very sure. Do you think I'll fake and all? I'm like, of course not. Now so I said, okay, let's do one thing. You pinpoint exactly where you saw. So as he's coming closer to the point, he says, Sarbojit, you know what is happening? I can't see this place right now. It's very blurry. I can see this area. I can see this area. It's quite clear, crystal clear. But this area was very blurry to me. Yes. So I'm like, are you sure you're not in a panic attack right now because you saw something which may not be true at all? And you are going into that fear moment. And he said, no, no, I'm very sure. I said, let's do one thing now. Let's replicate the entire thing. I'll stand exactly as I was standing. You go back to the point where you were. And maybe if the entity is actually looking at me, angry at me, it will maybe manifest again. And maybe this time I'll make sure that I'm looking that side. And nothing manifested. And I was like, see, I was telling you, there's nothing. He's like, no, but I saw. So as we are standing, the camera guys asked, okay, please go take some B-rolls and all, because we have to establish the place. And this guy is 40 years old. He's right now 39, I think. And he went to one spot, and we 3 are sitting, and we are chatting, what to do episodic wise, because we do not have much content. It's just what the running and all happened, but we can't show anything because we're not getting anything. We're not establishing anything. As that is happening, this guy starts running towards me, Sarbajit, Sarbajit. And before it was Sarbajit, Sarbajit, it was Mummy, Mummy, Sarbajit, help. So when I keep on saying that, when a 35 years old man starts shouting, Mummy, Mummy, there is something wrong. And as he's running towards me, we all 3 of us, we kind of take 5-6 steps back, because we are like, what the hell just happened? Why is he running? And we have seen entities can influence your emotional state. If you are not in your highest state of emotional being, they can poke you, they can make you overwhelmed, and you might take some reaction, do some reactions, which can be scary for other people. I thought it's something like that. And the fear that has been created by this guy who said that he saw something. He said that someone tapped on his shoulder. I said, no, there are so many trees, no? One of the trees might have hit you. there's no way there is any spirit. He was like, but no, there's not a single tree where I was shooting. I said, take me to that spot. He takes me to the spot and there's not a single tree. I'm like, how can this happen? And as I'm talking and I'm trying to understand what is happening, this one of the sound guys, he said that, Sarbajit, I think I have found something here. And I think it's a cloth that is wrapped, which is looking red because there is blood in it. And inside it, there is something. And my first reaction was, do not touch it. Get a stick or something, but don't touch it directly. And he was like, yeah, but see, what there is. So as I'm going to that spot, I realized at the same spot where, so this guy where he was pointing me that he got tapped, he was pointing like that. Okay, this is the area. It is the same area where this guy also saw the entity. And for some reason, out of the entire 45 minutes drama that was happening out there, I never investigated that area. I never went there. So now when this guy is calling me, Service, please check what is inside, I take one step. You won't believe, Ranveer. I think after this 2016, so this is like 4 years into my investigation journey, after investigating some of the most haunted locations in India, for the first time, I started questioning everything that I have been doing. Like, why am I doing this? Like, all my fears, which I overcame as a kid back in 2013, the fear of paranormal darkness and everything, they all overpowered me. I was overwhelmed with negativity. I sat down. And that's when it clicked me. Pooja did warn me that you are going to encounter something that's related to witchcraft. Why? Because when this guy unwraps the cloth, there is a voodoo doll inside it. And there is another marking inside out there, which
The
was
symbol.
a symbol. I'll explain what that is. And I was like, dude, and I kind of know options. So the ground was all wet, but I sat down. Seeing that my crew is all haze, like, dude, if Sarbajit is behaving like this, what will we do right now? Because we are also experiencing things right now. And I'm sitting there, I'm questioning everything. I'm like, this is the very reason why I started investigation. Why am I being shown that dark side again? Why all those things which I thought I've healed already, why are they coming back now? And I'm sitting there, I'm like, no, I cannot let this overpower me. I have to do something. I grounded myself sitting right there. I just visualized. I did this short visualization meditation, golden light and white light. I grounded myself. I shielded myself. I got up and I kind of charged inside that area, just shouting like, what the do you think of yourself? Do you think you can scare me? You can scare my crew? You want to do something? Do it right in front of me. You want to manifest? Manifest right now. I'm here. I'm in your area right now. You want to do something, right? Do right now. And as I'm doing that, I'm still having goosebumps because that was some moment for me and for the crew as well. And when we were figuring out, we found out that there is a symbol, like I mentioned. And I said, let's do one thing. Let's wrap up. I think it's done. We don't have to complete this case. And they all were like, yeah, please, let's do that. And I'm like, yeah, let's wrap up because things are going in a very dark way, which I know my crew is not prepared for it. And I need my team members for it. I said, let's wrap up. And as we're wrapping up, Ranveer, won't believe, we were seeing few things which were quite, I don't know, my engineering mind cannot explain that. We were seeing pebbles falling. Now, of course, the pebbles can be thrown towards us, but if it is thrown towards you, it will have a projectile motion and then it will, it will be parallel to the ground and it will come down because of gravity. This is happening. It's like it's falling right from the sky. There are pebbles falling everywhere, and we all four of us are seeing that pebbles are falling, and we're like, dude, we have to dodge these and we have to go get into the car. We dodged them, pebbles falling. This is like how can this happen? This is totally, there's no scientific base. If you ask me as a paranormal investigator, Sarbajit, how could this happen? I don't know. I don't have any answer. But we went back home. We all took, I didn't take, I only meditated before sleeping, but all the crew, they took salt water bath. And even after taking a salt water bath, they all three of them had the same dream, that they are being chased by that entity which they saw, like one of the crew saw out there. They are like being chased by that entity. And the next day I was researching on that symbol that we found. And we have few associates all over the world, and we sent a few friends who are based in Australia that, if they know any symbol, because I also tried to study symbols, but it was something that I was not able to recognize. And this friend in Australia who is quite good, and he said, dude, even I don't know what this is. Maybe you can ask someone from the Salem area in US, or from the Europe, because they have quite some knowledge on this. So I sent someone from the USA. Even that friend had no idea. Then I sent it to a friend who is based in UK. He's a physicist, and but researches on the paranormal. He has a vast knowledge of symbols.
Podcast. Sorry, go on. Go on.
And we sent him that, and he said, dude, how did you find this? Like, we are investigating some rural areas of Odisha, and we found it. But he was like, but how is it possible a rural area like that has a symbol so powerful? I'm like, but what is that? He said it's a symbol that was used by witches, is still used by some of the most powerful witches in the world, to summon the male and female version of a demon. Like, every entity has two versions. We all have our masculine and feminine side. Same way for demons as well. So it's a symbol that is used to summon the male and female version of that, masculine and feminine version of that, and to harm someone. Now, that particular village, Ranveer, of course, there's no connection, but somewhere the conspiracy mind or the curiosity mind that I have, that place has been hit by the super cyclone in 1999 that happened in Odisha. It was so bad, that particular village, that dead bodies were floating from a village 25 kilometers away from this village. And this village's dead bodies were found 30-40 kilometers away. The dead bodies floating like boats. It was so bad out there. And the place has seen some of the most natural calamities out there. Someone did question me in one of the meetups, do you think it was the voodoo doll or the black magic or the dark magic that was bringing all those natural calamities? If you ask me that same question, I do not have an answer for that. This is one experience that I had.
So that case was left unsolved?
Yes, it's a case that is still very much open. And I really want to go back and close that one.
Why?
Because, we got back to the villagers and we asked the village people, meditation is not their daily thing. They have no idea about meditation. Of course, they have a lot of faith in their gods. So what we did was we kind of helped them with their faith only, to get over the fear, so that they do not take any reaction or do anything that will harm them more. So that way the villagers never complained about it. But somewhere in me, that thing challenged me. So it's not an ego thing, but I know I want to see, what if it challenges me again? What if it pokes in things? Because if there are things still inside me, I need to heal them. I need to cure them. I need to overpower them, because until I do that, if not that entity, there will be some other entity who might find that loophole and might poke again. Of course, after that place, I have been to other places which are way more creepy. I've faced entities which are way more dangerous than that, but no one did a damage or found that loophole like that entity did.
While you're speaking about this, my stomach is hurting.
Yeah. It
Why?
was a bad place. It was a bad place.
Why is my stomach hurting?
It's because I got you so much connected to that place. That's why.
Really?
Yeah.
So if witchcraft was actually responsible, someone in that village was probably doing little movie plotline. That
it
old
is.
auntie who told you, "Beta,
Yes.
yahan shaitan." What if she
Yes.
was only the?
And I underestimated her. I'm like, yeah, I've heard this before, but so deep down, now that I'm sharing this, deep down I knew that what she said, it's going to come back to me again. And it actually shook me. It shook me to the core, I think. Post that also, again, I took a break from investigation. I'm like, no, I have to channel myself. I have to kind of increase that damage, as in cure that damage that the entity did to me. But I really want to go back. Very, very honest truth. I want to go back and get it sorted. Yeah.
If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to TRS Clips for more.